What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Every Week We Follow. So today we have got a special guest on, and we will be doing a Spurs preview for the game on Sunday. Yeah,
Sunday at 2 o'clock, mate. How are you a Villa fan? You never know.
Mate, I'm just not, mate. I'm on holiday. I ain't got a clue what day it is, so it's just I forgot we were even playing. I was like, oh, England are playing. What's going on? This is bizarre.
Mate, I'm buzzing. International football's over. I hate the international break. It's been so boring. Like, I've just hated the last 2 weeks. Bring back Sunday. Come on.
Yeah, it's all coming back. So quickly, just want to do our usual plug of the competition. So if you're watching this on your TV, scan the little QR code down here. There's also a link in the description. I'll also pop a link up in a card in the corner. You will get the chance to win a signed football from the squad from last season, which Gary is going to hold. Are you going to do your spin, Gaz? I think we should try it where... Oh, okay. I was going to say, I think we should try it where you need to do that throughout the entire pod. And see how successful you be. Okay, go.
I could probably do it.
Yeah, so we'll see how Gary gets on. But also, you will win potentially signed merchandise from Little.
Well, yeah, I'm probably moving off the signatures now. That's probably what's happening.
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. It is quite impressive. I'm not gonna lie. It is.
I'm very surprised that is the result of his spinning attempts. I thought that was just going to go flying across the room.
How flat is the end of your finger, mate? Like, it must just be like this kind of like really flat finger, like going.
Mate, that was one summer when I was about 12 years old. 7 weeks of practicing spinning the ball on my finger, and by the end of it, I could do it. Muscle memory.
Right. Anyway, onto the game. So, Jasper, thanks for joining us, mate. How you doing?
Very good, mate. Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, mate. Gary, you're good?
Yeah, good, mate. I'm excited today because, as was mentioned off camera, I'm getting to go to this book signing tonight, which I wasn't anticipating, but my friends messaged me and managed to get all the 2 tickets. So, going to go and meet this and hopefully get this bad boy signed. So, yeah, should be good. A few of the players are there: Petrov, Andy Townsend, Ian Taylor, James Chester. So it should be a good night. And hopefully,
you need to get networking and mingling of that. Try, mate. Are you going to take some of the little business card things?
Yes, mate. I can take a few of them, and I'll chat to everybody, mate. I'll just ask everyone to come on. That's it. I'm going to come for Ian Taylor as well because I've met Ian Taylor a couple of times. And I'm just going to, mate. What can I say? No, it's just whether I can get anywhere near him. So I've got a feeling that it doesn't sound the general admission tickets, but I don't know if it's just going to be a general queue that you queue up to get the book signed, or whether you have to pay to meet, or it might be a meet and greet. I don't know. If it's not too expensive, I might do it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it anyway. It should be good night. So if you are going, come and say hi, Villa fans. If you are going tonight, it looks like it's going to be more or less sold out event. So yeah, I'll see you there if you're going. Woohoo. Every week we follow.
Brilliant. Okay, cool. Right. So onto the game. So how are people feeling about Spurs? I personally hate playing Spurs for whatever reason. I think I went to Spurs back when they were at White Hart Lane 3 times.
Where was that? Sorry, mate. Where?
White Hart Line.
What Hart Lion?
Yeah. White Hart Line. Yeah. This is it's the Villa Spurs game. White Hart Lions. But no, I think I went there and I don't think I saw score a goal. I think there was also one game where I don't think we had a single shot. And also by the end of the game, I think we had 10 men and I didn't even realise because I think a player got injured.
Do you ever watch us play? I don't understand.
Yeah. No. A player, we made all our subs and I didn't realise at the time one of our players got injured. And so we didn't replace him. And I was literally going mental, going, why can't we get the ball? This is fucking shit. And then,
mate, you're like Tammy, you are, aren't you?
I was watching a match of the day. I was watching a match of the day. I was watching a match of the day, and I was literally like, "Oh, makes a lot of sense." Oh God.
Oh dear.
Anyway, how are you feeling about the game, guys?
If I'm honest, this is why I was frustrated with the international break, because I think it come at the wrong time for us. I think if we'd have played Spurs last weekend, I think we would have had a great chance of picking up a victory, maybe. But the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium has been hit and miss for us. Last season we were shocking in the second half. We played really well in the first half. 1-0 up. Morgan Rogers scored, I think, and then the second half we came out and we got Angeballed, which was a little bit frustrating because we know how you can play against Ange Ball. If we'd have just been a little bit more switched on, I don't know, we just ran out of energy, and there's that typical kind of Villa performance where I don't know why, like great first half, no energy second half, and we just got battered. And so I'm a little bit nervous with the 2-week break. I think going away for England, Rodgers yesterday, 60 minutes for England again. Like it didn't look like he had a particularly great game. Konsa was outstanding, which means he played the whole 90 minutes. So how fresh are them pair going to be coming into the game? You know, everyone else has been away. Marland's played. Anana got some minutes for Belgium. So I don't know how fresh we're going to be, basically. And it makes me a little bit nervous because it's also the pressure of, can we do 5 in a row? And we really need to, because this run of games we've got coming up, oh, mate, it's a tough... I've looked at the fixtures, and I think genuinely we've got probably the hardest run in the Premier League in the next couple of months. You know, if you look at our fixtures with the European games chucked into it, like from now till end of December, mate, we're going to have to pull something out of the bag to get any number of points on the board. So, yeah, it starts here, and this could really kind of be the catalyst of how that's going to go. Because if we lose, then we've got a lovely, easy trip of a visit of Man City coming next weekend, followed by Liverpool, followed by Bournemouth. It's the top 4 basically that we're playing. So yeah, it's going to be. I'm a little bit nervous.
But Donny Marland's continued his scoring streak as well. Score for Netherlands.
Yes, mate. Do you see absolute thunderbastard against Finland?
Yeah,
fucking brilliant finish.
He's so good, and obviously with the Watkins injury, it looks like he's probably going to get a start on Sunday, depending on how bad that is.
Right. Sorry, before Jasper, the Watkins injury. I didn't watch the Wales game because I just refused. It was a pointless game of football, right? And obviously Villa won 3-0, which was great, right? So, but how he got injured? Have you seen it?
Yeah, because he was sliding for the ball, right? Missed and then went flying into the post.
Just score the goal and don't injure yourself.
Yeah, or at least score the goal and injure yourself. Don't just
Watkins, mate. I mean, maybe he wanted a bit of a rest. I don't know. But even I don't know if you saw at half time in the highlights, him and Rodgers were walking off, and it looks like Rodgers says to him, like, mate, you should have stayed down or something like because the miss was that bad. Do you know what I mean? Like literally taking the piss out of him.
God!
Hopefully that's not caused another feud because they've had some words over the last few months, haven't they? You know, and I know this is probably bullshit, but there was absolute rumours flying around in the international break that I know it's not true, right? But I've got to say, this would never be something that's leaked. It would never be something that's leaked. No, but apparently Sancho's been dicking Watkins' misses, and it's caused an absolute outrage in the dressing room.
Yeah, won't be surprised though if it's happening. How are you feeling about the game, Jasper?
Relatively good, I think. We had Spurs Villa is always a weird game. We had a period under Sherwood and like Poch where we used to just dick you every single time we played. Case in point, the one where Sherwood gave delay to the fan that had been griefing him the entire season and had him sit in the dugout for him. But of late, since Emery's come in, we're less consistent. You've done us a few times. I know last season we had a couple of outliers where we put 4 past you, or not. Well, of recent memory, but then we lost you in the FA Cup last year. So, yeah, I think there'll be goals. Much more confident in our defence this season compared to last to keep out your attack, which I think is potentially a bit wishy-washy. I thought Asensio was unreal for you last year. I think.
Mate, yeah,
you're missing him. It's nice. Well, in theory, if Watkins doesn't play, I like Marland, but I don't know if centre forward against Van der Ven and Romero, he's going to have too much luck, and I'm not sure about Guessons so far. So I think your attack might struggle. Our defence has been pretty solid this year, but again, our attack might struggle. So hopefully goals, but I think it might be a bit cagier than recent years.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, Thomas Frank, since he's come in, I think he just looked a much more organised unit. And Ball. The thing with handball, I think it's just lottery ball. Like you just don't know what you're going to necessarily get. You're either going to get this absolutely incredible, unstoppable performance, or you're going to get this really kind of like lethargic. Everyone looks tired. Players getting injured all the time. I mean, what's going on at Forest is bizarre. Like I can't work out what's going on there. It's absolutely just madness. Like it looks like the worst point.
I think Hans just wants £7 million. That'll be it. Like I'll go there. I'll train for a few weeks, and then they'll just boot me out, and I'll get my money, and I'll go back on holiday again.
Yeah. But what with Spurs, just back to Spurs there quickly. You're because obviously you got Richie playing majority up front, right? But like last season he was a bit hit and miss, but he looks like he's a bit more on it this season.
Yeah, I mean, Richarlison's pony, let's be honest. He has been since he came to Spurs. He never has a run of games. He always gets injured. This is the longest in living memory that I can remember him being able to stay on a football pitch. Solanke had a mystery knock on his ankle in pre-season and then ended up having to get surgery on it, so he's not back yet. Kolo Muani has been out for a month with a dead leg. Make that make sense.
It's literally dead. It's literally died.
Yeah, he's had it amputated at this point. But he's back in the squad apparently. But obviously he's had no pre-season. So Richarlison's been our number one. Tell is our backup striker at the moment. And to be honest, I wouldn't be opposed to Tell starting ahead of Richarlison. He played against Leeds. I mean, it was a lucky goal in the fact that it got a big old deflection, but anything that keeps Richarlison off the pitch is relatively decent. It feels mean because he actually started the season really well. And when he's on it, he's a handful for centre-halves to play against. But when he's not on it, it's like playing with 10 men. When he's not bothered, it's painful.
Yeah, I just can't work out your attacks sometimes. Like Tell, I haven't seen a lot of him, but whenever I see it, I just felt he's kind of gone just missing. He's just not really.
Yeah,
he's definitely not hit the heights that he was hitting before.
Solanke last season was really good for Spurs. He just didn't score that many goals. So with Ange Ball, all the opportunities came for the wide men. Brennan Johnson can't beat a man, but scored almost 20 goals last season because the way we were playing was fullbacks come inside, occupy their fullbacks, and then whoever's wide is just at the back post to score tap-ins. The centre forward does loads of pressing, and Solanke's press was actually really good. You saw it at Bournemouth; he was really good at pressing. Last season, really good at pressing, and he just gets us up the pitch and holds the ball up. So without him, Richarlison runs around, but he looks like a headless chicken at times when he is running around. Tell missed out on the Champions League squad this season because we just got too many foreign players, so someone had to miss out, and it was Tell. Yeah. So he was a bit sad of Spurs Twitter going, "Oh, not sure about that decision," but someone had to not make the cut. But as a result, he's pretty much can play all our like Carabao, FA Cup games, and he's a backup striker now. But potentially the number one striker was Solanke, and Kolo Muani are out. He looks kind of tidy, but he's taken a lot of time to adapt to the Prem. It's super physical, and he's not that big. He's quite technical, but yeah, it takes a bit of time to warm up to, I suppose.
Yeah. I think I always said that midfield's always the biggest battle usually for us. It's all about how physical you are in that midfield. If you can get in and about around and try and outnumber like Kamara or depending, obviously we'll look at our starting lineup in a sec of who we think is going to play. I haven't actually seen your starting lineup, Gaz, so I'm not 100% sure who you think is going to play. But yeah, that's usually where our games are won and lost, is in that midfield. And simply, are we going to be clinical or not? The past few games, we have been. We've actually managed to not just score goals, but score goals without actually creating a huge amount of opportunities. So I think a lot of it's going to depend on, obviously, Marland, because Watkins is out. Can Marland do the business on his own? When he's on his own, he hasn't looked right as he has. He doesn't. He's not great as a lone striker.
Well, I mean, we still haven't heard on what's wrong with Watkins and whether he's going to take any part of the weekend. It might just be a case that he's a bit sore and he starts on the bench. But if he's fit enough to play, I think Emery will probably start Watkins. But if Marland does start up top on his own, then just looking at the options, and we'll go through them in a shortly. But Marland up top on his own, he's isolated, and he did it against Brentford, and he was not good, man. Like he just looked a bit like a rabbit in the headlights, not knowing what to do. His runs were poor. He wasn't making he just looked like this has been our biggest problem at the start of the season in that forward line. I think defensively we're starting to look okay, and that midfield, if we've got a balance now, whoever plays there, because it'll either be McGinn and Kamara or Bogaard and Kamara, and they've got a decent understanding. But that front four as we play with three behind, one up top, at the start it just looked like they'd not played together before. There's no kind of like rhythm, and in the last few games it started to come, but we've played teams that have suited the system we play. So all the play's been in front of us, so we haven't had to worry about runs in behind or any pacing behind, and Pau Torres can deal with that all day long, and we can then play through the lines, and we get that's when we get joy. When you get Rodgers on the ball, and against Burnley, Marland in those little pockets of space behind Watkins, then we can cause some damage. But if you can isolate that, you cut us off at the knees, and we won't. It'll be a tough one, like you say, with the pace of Van der Ven and how Spurs line up. I think it'll be a tight game. I do, unless we are shockingly poor. And if we play like we did at the start of the season, depends what Villa turn up. If we play like we did in the first 4 games, I think you'll batter us again. But if we turn up and play like we have in the last 4, where we've, against Feyenoord in particular, I thought we were very good defensively. We were very well organised in the second half, particularly, not so much in the first. But it's all about, can we keep our shape in that defence? And I spoke to you about this, Jasper, off air. We've had that lack of consistency in that back 4, and I'd just like to see him pick a back 4 and stick with it and go. So if that back 4 is Digne, Pau, Konza and Cash, fine. I would prefer Maatsen for the pace that he offers going forward, and I think he's getting better defensively with each game. But Digne's been super consistent, but again, he doesn't offer the width and the pace going forward. And I just think against Spurs, with the pace that you've got, we need pace down that left-hand side. That would be, and if we were to play Gassond, he's not been great going forward. And I think you're right, Jasper, like you mentioned, like he hasn't offered a great amount going forward. However, James and I eventually, in his first game at home against Palace, he looked like he'd never played football before. He was trying to cover, I think it was Maatsen. He was on the edge of our 18-yard going, what do I do? Where am I? Like, he was like, mate,
the ball was just been pinged. The ball was been pinged around him, and he was literally just like what's going on?
Mate, it just looked like a world. I'm in the Premier League. This is too quick. It was really funny. But then in the last 3 or 4 games, he's actually put a real shift in, and he's played on the right, and he enabled. I think he saved Matty Cash. If I'm honest, he's made Matty Cash look an amazing right back. But that's because of the work he was doing. He was covering him, so Cash wasn't getting exposed as he usually does. And Cash is a concern for me as well, because I said this to James last week. Cash has got this annoying habit, and I don't know why he does it, because he never used to do it. You go back to 23-24 season when we played the high line, and we used to have a straight as an arrow like back 4, and we'd just play offside, step up, right, no problems. But Cash, for some reason, I don't know if he's lack of concentration or he's just in his own world. He gets drawn in centrally, towards Konza, and good teams just pick it off, a cross-field pass into that channel, and he doesn't deal with it. And then they often create something this season. If you go through all of our games, Cash has been the catalyst for the goals we've conceded. He's made a mistake like that where the ball's just got, he's just dipped in behind, or they've cut inside because he's been out of position. So it'll be won and lost on those moments for me.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue the reason he does that is because he's shit. He is going to be under plenty of pressure because Spurs fans remember when he did Bentancur and so he's going to get, I assume, hounded for 90 minutes. Yeah. And probably, if Bentancur plays, we'll probably get his own back on him at least once, because he is a bit of a hatchet man.
Well, it's all good, mate. We've got Garcia coming back from injury, so it'll force him to actually play him.
Yeah, exactly. Right, on to our next, our new feature, Gaz. The hat-trick quiz.
The hat-trick quiz, right.
It's got the wrong part. I didn't have time. I didn't have time to update it, so I just slapped this on. Hat-trick quiz. I didn't have time. I was really late to this. So
the thing is, I was meant to do that yesterday, mate, but I had a flu jab yesterday, right? And honestly, I'm fucked. My arm, I feel like my arm's about to fall off, and I feel like I've been slapped with a wet fish. Right? It just, like last year, I had this flu jab. It didn't do anything to me. I was like, oh, okay, no problems. But I don't know if it's because I'm getting older. But honestly, I've been out of commission, so I didn't get dragged down to it. Anyway, right then, it's time for the hat trick quiz. Right, Jasper, 3 questions. Right, easy, medium, and hard. Bag all 3, and you've completed your hat trick. Miss one, and well, it's a bit Spursy, but we'll give you a bonus one if you fancy extra bragging rights. So even if you get all 3, we can give you the bonus one just for a bit of fun. So you ready?
Yeah, ready.
Yeah, let's go. Right. Okay, so question 1, right? It's the easy one, or as I like to call it, the tapping. Right, start off nice and simple, a bit like Rich Harlison tapping at the back post, as you've just mentioned earlier. So here it is. Right, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium famously hides what under the pitch? And there's multiple choice questions, so I know you probably know the answer, so don't shout out just yet. So is it A, a built-in cheese room? Is it B, a retractable NFL pitch? Is it C, an underground pub? Or is it D, Harry Kane's medal cabinet?
Oh, boo. Why did you have to throw that in there? Nasty. I'd like to lock in the NFL pitch, please.
Yes. The cheese room was a real white elephant, obviously, because you never know at that wonderful stadium you've got. It wouldn't be surprising. Do you know what I mean?
There's a go-kart track under there somewhere.
Mate, it's unreal. I'm not envious in the slightest. Okay, question 2, medium, or we're going to call this the edge of the box finish, right? Okay, bit trickier. Like trying to chase Ollie Watkins into the channel. That's probably the only thing he's good at. Anyway, so which manager has been in the dugout for both Spurs and Aston Villa? Is it A, Martin O'Neill? Is it B, Tim Sherwood? Is it C, Unai Emery? Or D, Harry Redknapp?
Yeah, Sherwood.
Yeah, good man. It's 2 out of 3, mate.
I don't think either set of fans particularly like him.
No, mate. He I guess he kept us from being relegated in 2014-15. Well, actually, it was Benteke, and then Benteke left, and that following season, mate, we were shit.
The
as an example,
was crazy.
Right, it was James's brother's Pete first season as a season ticket holder, that 2015-16 season. 19 games at home, right? We didn't see one victory. We won 1 against Norwich, and we were on holiday, so missed it. It was fucking unreal. What a shit team. And we got relegated. And my daughter turned to me and said, she was only, I think, 7 at the time, 6 or 7. And she said, Dad, this is really crap. And I went, I promise you it'll get better. And it did. Right, anyway, on to question 3. So this is the hard one, or the screamer, as I like to call it. So here's one for the highlight reel. When Villa beat Spurs 2-1 at Villa Park in May 2023, all right, who scored Villa's opening goal? Was it A, John McGinn, B, Jacob Ramsey, C, Ollie Watkins, or D, Douglas Luiz?
Oh, I haven't got a Scooby. I know McGinn has scored a couple. I think he scored a couple against us, so I'd go McGinn. I don't like playing against John McGinn.
Yeah, he's an absolute animal, mate. I think he's been our saviour this season. Without him, I don't know. Like, you know, when you just need a player to galvanise the squad and get you going. Like, talk about keeping things simple. Just do your basics well. Throw your passion and your desire to win a football match, and it gets you through. And I think that's why we've won the last 4. You know, hopefully we can start actually playing now. But it's wrong. It was Jacob Ramsey. So, but no worries, mate. You're still on 2. Right? You bagged the brace, but we've got the bonus question, or as I like to call it, VAR time. VAR. Here we go. So this could have been bragging rights, but it's not. So anyway, here we go. Which former Spurs fullback spent a loan spell at Aston Villa in 2011 and scored a rocket on his debut? Is it A, Kieran Trippier, D, Danny Rose, C, Kyle Walker, or D, Kyle Norton?
Oh, I was thinking Alan Hutton, absolute diabolical player. Who are the options? Norton, Walker.
So Kieran Trippier, Danny Rose, Kyle Walker, or Kyle Norton?
Oh, I don't think Walker's played for Villa. Norton's been round the houses, 2011. Maybe Norton.
Ah, so close. It was Walker. Yeah, we had him.
Walker. I didn't realise he went to Villa.
We had him for a season, mate. He was absolutely unreal, and we did not want him to leave. And obviously, he was too good for us at the time. This was kind of just pre-Martin O'Neill. We just lost Martin O'Neill, and he was unreal. He was only a young lad then, and I think he was kind of, obviously Spurs were sending him out on loan to kind of get game time. And yeah, he scored an absolute rocket against Fulham. And we honestly, the pace he had even back then, like I don't think we've seen anything like it at Villa since. And obviously he went on and fucking won absolutely.
Yeah. Him and
everything.
Rose, that fullback partnership was the best I've seen at Spurs. That was
Yeah.
crazy. I mean, that whole back line, how we didn't win anything.
Yeah, mate, I'll never know. But
crazy,
you know, it's one of those where we've had players in the time. Kyle Walker's always one that stands out in me. Obviously not well known because he was only there for one season, but look at the career he's had. Okay, so score check then, mate. So 3 out of 3 would have made you a hat-trick hero, but we didn't get it. You got 2 out of 3, so it's not bad a brace. So we've got it 2 out of 3, which we've got it labelled as Richarlison purple patch, mate. So we're nearly there. You've got the love of scoring the brace, but it's all love, mate. Like we're looking forward to Sunday's game, and hopefully the best side in claret and blue will win. Oh wait a minute, that'll just be us, right? No, but that's it, mate. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. We can bring James back in now if he's
better than a bagel.
there.
Like that.
And that's the quiz. Thanks for listening. I hope you had fun. You know, it was all just a bit of banter. But
I think you don't need the multiple choice, mate. I think just get them to name it, and then if they need a hint, then you can give them multiple choice.
Well,
I think Jasper would have got those first 2. I think
the first 2.
I was surprised you didn't get the Kyle Walker, mate. I was sitting there, and the second Gary said it, I was like, Kyle Walker.
Yeah.
But also you're more likely to remember Villa screamers than others. In fairness,
I don't remember the goal. I just remember Kyle Walker.
Flying out on loan to Villa, but I mean,
yeah, it was years ago though.
Who focused on our diabolical fullbacks before that?
Yeah,
if it was a question about Stephen Carr, mate, would have been right on it.
Right, so
about Stephen Carr, mate.
I don't think there are any. That's why.
Yeah. Oh God! Right, on to the lineups. So Spurs, Jasper, we've got yours here. If you could just take us through it, don't have to go into massive detail. Just a few minutes on like where you think if there are changes, where you think the big points are, who are the big players, and who are the ones that are going to hurt us.
Yeah, I think the defence is pretty set in stone. You got Jed Spence, who has had a pretty good international break as well, who's quite interchangeable. It's quite weird. We have like one rotation for centre-back and one rotation for both full-backs. So it's Spence and Danzo are our only viable options outside the starting four that I've got there. But I think he'll go with Udogie. I think he was on the bench for us. He didn't play. He'll be fresh. He's back and he's rapid. The right-hand side has stayed pretty strong this season. Porro and Kudus look very tidy together, and I think they'll be able to cause quite a lot of damage. Like if you play Maatsen, I think they'll tear him apart.
Yeah.
Zidane, I think he'll sit back a little bit more, but I think the defense is pretty locked in. I mean, Romero and Van der Ven are arguably one of the best centre-half partnerships in the league. Romero now has settled down. He doesn't look like he's going to get red cards ever, let alone every week now. So I think him against Marland could be quite one-sided if he is up front for you. Midfield is probably where we might see that, we might not. We've got quite a lot of options. Sarr started the season really well, scoring goals as well. But Paulinho, we look a completely different team when he's in as opposed to when he's out. He's the 6 that we've been screaming out for seasons and just never had anyone. We shoehorn Bentancur in, he can do a job there, but he's an 8. He likes having the ball. He can progress it, whereas Paulinho just sits in there, kicks people, wins the ball. And he's actually not bad at a little diag. Like you were saying earlier, Matty Cash getting done out by a diag over his head. I wouldn't be surprised to see Paulinho nick the ball in the middle of the park and send it out wide early. But yeah, we've got Bentancur, Bergvall, Sarr, Xavi, Simons. He can play in the middle. He looks best in the middle of the park, but our left wing options have just looked quite poor this season so far. We've got Tell, we've got Odegaard, but I think Simons will play out wide and then drift inside, especially with Udogie as the option. He can bomb on and go in behind, as opposed to Spence is far more defensively sound. He's less likely to make the overlap, but I think if Udogie plays, Xavi will stay out on the wide. And then the front line, I think Richarlison's interchangeable with Tell. I think I'd probably rather see Tell, but we might see Richarlison against you. Pau Torres is a bit of a unit. Tell's not winning a single header against him if Torres plays. Same with Ming, same with Konza. I don't think Tell is a very good matchup for them, whereas Richarlison is just a bit more boisterous, a bit busy, and he can just be a nuisance. Kudus is a lock. He's been arguably the best signing of the season in the Prem. I mean, Spurs bias on that one, but yeah, Kudus is a complete lock. I think Paul Lee.
Just say West Ham fans won't agree with you, mate.
Oh, the joys of seeing them thinking that they fleeced us 55 mil for Kudus. And yeah, he's hit the ground running really well. Finally got a goal the other week, which was nice. But I mean, I think he's got like 4 assists already. He looks sharp. But I mean, Spurs started really well. I mean, we can't complain. We've got 14 points, sitting third, but we have had a few shit performances. This season, the main difference is we're picking up points where last season we would have been absolutely battered under Ange. Bodo Glimt, we were terrible, and we've come out with a draw. I mean, we should have lost that 5-0. Wolves, we were terrible. Leeds, we weren't amazing, and we've come out with a win. So we're picking up points when we don't necessarily deserve them, but when we are playing well, we really do deserve the points. So I think it promising. Midfield could be interchangeable. Bergvall's looks very tidy this season. I think he can hurt you, but we really miss Kulusevski and Maddison in that 10 role. That's where our creativity lacks, and our strikers have kind of pony. I'd like to see Solanke back, but yeah, that's what I reckon we might look like. A few tweaks here and there.
Yeah, I worry about those wings, especially with us playing. We tend to play so narrow, and so there ends up being so much space out of those wide areas. Cash, if there's someone overlapping, like you said, Udogie overlapping with, on that left-hand side, then whoever's playing on the right, if it is Gesson, he's going to need to be doing work getting back.
Mate, let's just get into it. Let's get the. Yeah, we can talk about that
now. There we go.
I would.
Oh, he's got. Oh, okay. Well,
I would say that I watched that Wolves game, Jasper, and I was surprised at how poor Spurs were. Considering how poor Wolves had been going into that game, I really thought you were going to batter them because of how disciplined you'd been at the start of the season. And like I say, I fully expected you to actually trounce them. But, goals change games. And as soon as Wolves scored, it galvanised them and they had something to play for. And they were unlucky to come away with a point, really. But I'd love it for Spurs to turn up like that, by the way. I think we'll win the game. But I don't think that's going to be a common occurrence for Spurs. I think all the things you've just said hint that you're much more solid at the back. You've got pace in behind, like you are, and you are missing those. The one plus point for us is you are missing those creative players in Maddison and Kulusevski, and maybe we can kind of nullify that with this team. So I agree with you, James, that down the wings are important, which is why I've gone with Bogaard in that holding role with Kamara and McGinn out on the right, because this worked really well against Burnley in the fact that McGinn can't play right wing. He's not got any pace, but the defensive work he'll do in covering Cash to cover what you just said about Udogie will work brilliantly. And no one wants McGinn running at you at full pelt, like trying to kick you in the air. It's like, that's what he'll do. And I think that's what he'll be instructed to do. And then hopefully this will be won and lost with the front three of Gesson, Rodgers and Marland, because I've always said this, that if we can get them playing together as a unit where it's rotating and they're not in set positions. So yes, Marland will be up front, but he should be able to interchange that with Rodgers, and Gesson can play in the middle. And it's about kind of exposing those gaps and getting isolated, maybe against Proro at left back. If we've got Matson bombing on, that will work. I think that will work, but it really just depends on if he goes with Dino or not. I don't know. But I think the pace-wise for us, Matson could be key to unlocking the forward play for me, because Gesson will cover naturally, and I think Matson's actually better at getting forward than Gesson. At the moment, I'm waiting for Gesson to have a Premier League moment. Do you know what I mean? Where he actually lights something up. At the moment, he looks still like a little bit like a rabbit in the headlights. Like I'm used to the French league; it's a little bit slower. So I'll have to see what happens. But for me, if we can win that midfield battle with Bogaard and Kamara, but Bogaard is an unsung hero for me. He's been absolutely our most consistent player this year, and he was outstanding against Burnley. He was outstanding against Fulham. He was outstanding against Everton, even though we were really poor. And it shows that Emery likes him. He even left Kamara out for the Fulham game and played him instead. So the other thing that could happen here is he could not play Bogaard. He could put McGinn in that holding role, and we could play Gassan on the right. I know this.
Elliot. When are we going to see Elliot?
So you could play Elliot as well. Absolutely. Like at this point, I'm resigned to we're not using the new signings. That Emery didn't want them, and it was all Monchi's fault because
blame Monchi.
Just blame Monchi. No, I'm not saying. I don't think that's the case, but surely there's no coincidence. Maybe Emery's used him as a scapegoat to say, look, I didn't really want these players, because that would have thrown our dressing room out of sync as well, particularly the Sancho deal. We talked about this off air. When you're taking pay cuts for players and other players aren't, and then you go, could we have? I'm not saying we could have, but could we have got Grealish back on loan? Like, that would have been amazing signing for us. But no, we can't afford him because he's £300,000 a week. But we are going to pay 80% of £250,000 a week. Like, it doesn't. It's going to piss people off, So, and I don't even know what's going on with Sancho. He was okay last week. He went off down the tunnel ill. And we haven't seen him since. Like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. So I'd love to see Elliot and Sancho as options down. Like, if we had a fully fit Sancho attacking you down the left-hand side with Maatsen, with that Dortmund connection. I said this after we signed him. I think that would be... They played against Brentford and they looked like they were going to link up well, but we haven't seen it since. So until you have a consistent run of games, you're never going to see these partnerships form. And that's what's been frustrating about the Villa. I think we've got players that can actually unlock defences, but we don't use them consistently. They have a run of a couple of games or half a game, and they don't perform. And then as I said before, if we could just stick to it, like that back four, I'd be happy to stick with that. It doesn't look like Mings is going to be back. I don't think. Haven't heard anything yet, unless there'll be a press conference tomorrow, so we'll know a bit more with the updates on that. Then you can kind of play around with the front four, I feel, like with your Elliots and your Sanchos and your Gassans and stuff. Those are interchangeable. We all know that Emery's never going to drop Rodgers. Rodgers could have one leg and he's just going to be in the team. Like, it just doesn't matter how crap he is, or like he's just going to get in the team. And if Watkins is fit, he'll play up top. That's two guarantees. Like, so it's about playing these left and right channels. Even if we are narrow, that's fine. But it's about then Bogaard and Kamara, or whoever plays in those holding roles, whether Onana or McGinn or whatever, is about getting the ball through those lines into Rodgers and into Marland to expose that space. So I think it'll be really, really tight. I do. I'll be amazed if it's as open as previous games have been against us, just because of the two managers. Like when we've played Brentford, it's always been relatively close games, 1-0, 2-1. Like there haven't been much between the two teams. So I think it'll be a close encounter. I do.
Yeah, I think the interesting one is obviously we've got Europe on next week, and so then he tends to do this weird thing where he'll like rotate, or he'll do these changes at like 60 minutes. To give them, and it's the players who are going to play on the Thursday, and he does all these weird things with Europe. It's really, really odd sometimes. So I won't be surprised if that back line, if it is Digne playing on left back, and he just throws Elliot in, and all of a sudden we're like, why have we changed this again? What's going on? He just seems to do it all the time. I don't know. Maybe he's got something with the bookies. And like the bookies are like, people are guessing the starting lineup too much, mate. You got to move it around. Like,
3 subs to be made in before 70 minutes. Oh, I've won £5. Yeah,
who knows? Right.
Buendia's been getting a bit of a sniff this season. Far more minutes I thought he would be getting, especially since you signed Elliot.
I'm so happy for Buendia personally. Like I think I said it before. It was like the Alan Hutton stuff where every season he was getting bombed out. He managed to hold on, and then he'd perform randomly. And I feel like Buendia's doing the same. It's really nice. It's really refreshing, to be honest.
To be fair,
been around.
Buendia could start ahead of Gasson. He could. On the left-hand side, that could happen as well.
It's not physical though. He's just going to get knocked off. He gets knocked off the ball so
and
easy.
If that happens, it would be Digne and Buendia playing that left-hand channel. But I think what you do then is you suck out any kind of pace and you go out down the left-hand side. That's what I worry about. And I just think if the reason why I went with Gasson over Buendia is because I'm choosing Maatsen. And I think Matson will do that covering more. And Cassani's a big physical presence. He's a big dude, man. He's bigger than I thought he was. And so he has that bit more about him. He's just, I guess, not as attuned to the Premier League as Buendia is. But I think if you start with that, you've got Buendia to bring on after 60 minutes or so to kind of maybe unlock that if it's tight, if it's 0-0, 1-1 or whatever like that. Do you know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. I'm intrigued. Either way, I can't fucking wait for Sunday. The Premier League is back, baby. Fuck international football. I'm just, yes, come on.
Right. Anyway, so on to the final segment. So on to our predictions. Right. I don't have a pen and paper, so I'm going to do it with my fingers. So it'll be me and Gary first going for the Villa result, and then Jasper will ask for the opposition's view. Gary, you got it down?
I've got it down. I've written it down. More than a result in my little black book.
Home and away.
Yeah.
Right. 3, 2, 1. Ooh.
I'm going 2-1.
I've gone for the Desmond. I've gone for the Desmond 2-2. I think there were, even though we said they're both more organised, I do think there will be goals. I also think, as I always say, for Villa, early goal is key.
Early goal is key.
If we
do the basics,
that's all. Yeah, I think if we don't get that early goal, you'll just become quite resolute and you will look to just counter.
I just think Emery has this knack, and we've done this 3 or 4 times under his tenure, where we've had 4, 5, 6 games where we've been absolutely dog shit, and then we've been unbeaten in 20. Do you know what I mean? I just think with the run of fixtures we've got, he'll be looking not to lose this game, 100%. So, I mean, I've said 2-1. I have a head and heart result that goes through me, right? And I think my heart says 2-1, we win, because I can't bet against us. But my head says 1-1. I think it'll be 1-1 in my sensible footballing brain head, because it'll be don't lose the game. So, I think it's frustrating because we've done that a couple of times this season where we've not played to not lose rather than try and go and win the game. But I think it's all been about steadying the ship, because of the poor start we've had. And with the Europe, like you said, James, with the European games coming up next week, maybe we just kind of, take with Man City coming next weekend. We win our home games. I think we'll go at Man City in a completely different kind of light. So yeah, either way, it's exciting times.
Right, Jasper, what are you thinking?
2-0.
2-0.
Like you say,
Spurs.
Do I actually believe that that's going to be the result? I'm not sure. It might be no Spurs for a couple of weeks, international break, and then you come back and you're like, nah, we're up for this. We're in a pretty average run of form at the moment. We started well. I think we've got the Leeds game that we can play off the back of, but I think we're due a pretty good performance. Your attack doesn't scare me at the moment, especially if Watkins is out after that collision with the post. That I think could be quite a big game changer. I think our defence just looks really solid. Udogie has only just recently come back, but I think he could make quite a difference against you guys. John McGinn, I think the midfield for me is where this game is completely won or lost. There's a couple of teams that it seems every time we play them, it's you, Newcastle, maybe Brentford as well sometimes, but it's just the midfield kicking each other. And if the ref decides that he's going to give it, he ruins the game. If he decides he's going to let a little bit go, then the midfield battle wins it. I think if McGinn plays on the right, he'll still come in and help a lot defensively. But I feel your attack at the moment isn't amazing. I mean, you went, 5 games without scoring a goal. Our defence looks quite solid. But again, I fear for our attack. I think outside of Kudus, I don't really know who's going to be scoring or creating much. Xavi Simons looks pretty good now when he fills in the hole. We've got a few midfielders. If Bergval's on, if Sarr's on, they have a bit of a goal threat. But yeah, maybe 1 goal in it really, but I'm hoping for 2.
Sounds like 0-0. Sounds like 0-0 to me. That sounds like 0-0 all over it. I think it'll be an interesting game. I think it's probably bigger for us than it is for you. I would say at this with how the season's gone. Quick question though, Jasper. Last season, how do you feel about last season? Was it a successful season?
Of course it was. I mean, all these fans that claim that it wasn't just because we almost got relegated. Who cares? Actually, who cares? And upon reflection, again, who cares? I spent so much money watching us lose week in, week out, play like shit. And you go, yeah, it was worth it because we won a cup. Fine. What is the point of football if you win something and you're still sad?
Yeah. No, I agree. Well, this is the thing, right? So this is the thing with Villa fans this season, because obviously we started so poorly that we're sitting there going, we don't care. We just want to win the Europa League. If we can win the Europa League, we're in the Champions League next season. That solves so many problems for us. But it's not easy, right? Like, as in, but for any English side, other than in the Champions League, for any English side in the Conference League and the Europa League, you should be expecting minimum semi-final or final. Like, you should be expecting that because you are just better standard than the rest of the league, rest of the competition. And obviously, Spurs and Man U prove that they both got there. I'd love to win something. I don't think I want to run it quite as close as you guys did in terms of like finishing 17th and getting Europa League, but I don't care if we finish like 13th.
Yeah, I mean that's it. Like, we were bad, but even we were exciting to watch, and we would still just lose the game. I think it's different when you're still scoring goals and the atmosphere is still kind of funny. The last season was just funny, and come out, we lose to a dog shit team like 3-1, and we should have beaten them 7-1. And you go, oh, on in here, and he would just look at the ground afterwards and just go, "It's who we are, mate."
Honestly, his interviews.
And then we would go into the Europa League and batter some terrible team. Yeah, nice. But yeah, it's what football's about, right? You want those nights. Man United Spurs, objectively, dog shit game of football. Yeah. But so was Spurs Liverpool. That was one of the worst, if not the worst, Champions League
finals
of all time. Do Liverpool fans give a shit that it was a bad game of football and it was ruined by a handball after a minute? No, because you won. Like, we won. It was an awful game of football. We won, made the season worth it. The parade afterwards was great. Like, that's what you sit through fucking 20 years of like, oh, this is rubbish. But you do it every week because there's a chance that you can get it at the end. So I've got no bad words to say about Ange. Like, proper Spurs fans are all like, you see why he was sacked, but that doesn't mean that he wasn't like, he's not up there with, he's not quite Billy Nick, but he's got to be up there near him because all the other managers we've had couldn't do what he did.
Well, exactly. Look, at the end of the day, like, it's about the silverware, right? The history books don't say anything else. It just goes down. The wins are recorded. The losses don't matter. If you didn't get relegated, but no one's going to care where you feel. No one's going to think in 30 years' time, oh, do you remember when Spurs won the Europa League? Oh, yeah, they finished 17th in the league. No one's going to care about that. Like, obviously, as fans, when you're watching it as it's happening, you want your team as high up the league as possible, like competing for everything. But we know in this modern day age of football, that's impossible unless you are, you know, you've got all
unless
the money.
Unless the Big Six Mafia let you spend all your money, mate.
Yeah.
Right.
I think
he's not rocking you anymore.
I think if you'd been relegated, it would have been a bit different. But I think the fact that you avoided relegation.
Well, if they'd have been relegated, it'd have been something to talk about because it would have been, you know, that's recorded, right? Relegations are recorded.
Exactly. And the knock-on effect financially and all that stuff is huge with that. And then you've got to try and do a Champions League season with championship budget.
Yeah,
how's that going to work?
I don't think there was ever an actual fear of us getting relegated. Like the teams at the bottom,
they were so bad.
If it was this season, he wouldn't have made it to
because you'd have been in
the
bottom three. Yeah.
But,
so one last question just before we go, sorry, because it's got to be about Daniel leaving, like, because now obviously our Spurs on the brink of becoming another, you know, super power that we can't compete with.
Yeah, I think Levy's an odd one because, I mean, I was part of the Levy out brigade for a while, and by the end, most fans were. And upon reflection, I think he deserves a lot of flowers for what he did for Spurs. I mean, he came in after Sugar. Sugar was, I mean, you've got to be careful what you say about Sugar because he will get you to rescind that and apologise in public. But I mean, Sugar was what he was. Like, he was okay. We were an okay team. But what Levy's managed to create is like European superpower. Financially, we're way above what we ever thought we would be. The stadium is the best in the league. If you think it's not, then you're probably wrong.
No, it is, mate. It's an amazing stadium.
But the issue we've always had is we would spend money poorly on transfers, and we would never give anyone like the same wages that like we've always had the money to spend since. Well, I say always since he last 5 years since Poch. We've had money to spend. We waste it on like Ndombele, who's awful. I mean, he looks like he would be good, but it turns out to be awful. Richarlison costs what, 50 million. We spend transfer fees, but we don't do wages, or we didn't. Yeah. So you've got these players, and if you look at the net spend chart, Spurs would be up there. And from the outside, you'd be like, why are Spurs fans moaning? They spend money, because we did, but we would spend it on cheap deals where you offer them 80 grand a week. And you're looking at, I mean, Eze, for example, he went to Arsenal and is on like probably, what, 200k a week?
Yeah.
We offered him maybe up 120. So we're never competing on the wages. The move to the new stadium arguably came at the worst time for the team, because that season in Wembley, I think if we were at White Hart Lane, that last season we were there, absolute fortress. And then you go and take away the like stress of playing at White Hart Lane to going to play at Wembley,
which is neutral stadium basically, isn't it?
Neutral stadium, miles away. I think he did a very good job on the financial basis, but in terms of on the pitch, he could have done a lot more. That's why he got sacked in the end. And it came out, Daniel Levy's left. It turns out he got sacked by the ENIC family. So Joe Lewis was the head of ENIC, hides away in the Caribbean for tax reasons. His kids run the trust now. It's been long rumoured that the daughter, she doesn't like or didn't like Daniel Levy, and finally had enough, booted him out. He's still minority shareholder, so he can keep raking in the money from Spurs. And they're like, okay, now's the time to start investing on the pitch. They've just put in 100 mil. Whether that's all going on transfers or wages are yet to be seen. I don't think it'll all go there, but there's a bit of a kitty for Thomas Frank to use.
You're arguably, if some takeover does come in, I'd be amazed at what that valuation would be, because financially,
we just rejected it.
Yeah.
So total value was about 4 billion from some Yankees.
Well, because your I think your SCR is like 40, I think it's like 40%. Like so much headroom with what this team can do, and your revenues are so high because your stadium's so good. So it's not like you're having to put in these massive overheads now to like try and lift.
Yeah.
You're basically primed. You're one of the big six. You're a London-based club. You've got a massive stadium, one of the best events.
Yeah, that's where I don't like the idea of the big six. I don't think many Spurs fans like it or see themselves in it, because the way we've got into it is slightly different. You've got the financial rules that allow Chelsea to go from dog shit and being bought for like £1 to, okay, we're just going to spunk millions and millions and millions in for no repercussions and just buy our way in. We've had to do it on a much longer road. So the comparisons with same with City, like all the PSR and FFP rules that are like shackling you guys and Newcastle, like you have money to spend and you want to spend it, but we have money to spend, but it's only because we've spent 20 years like
not spending
it and then having to build a stadium and getting NFL shows and concerts, which are a ball ache if you're anywhere near a ground on fucking Beyonce days. It's like, this is dog shit. Although I do like the idea of Beyonce fans coming out the stadium and being in North London being like, this is not what we were promised. Sisters is not one for the Beehive, but we've done it the long way and the hard way to be in the position we're in. And the ENIC are now starting to look like they're going to be spending proper money on wages on decent footballers, but until it happens,
we shall see. We shall see, I suppose, because like, I mean, it sounds like that big. I mean, the only reason I say the big six is not because you're part of
it's the Sky Six,
the mafia. It's just the financial big six. Like, you are just above everyone else.
Yeah.
And I think it's only going to get stronger. There's obviously these rumours of takeover at Man U as well. There's the Spurs takeover. it's just, and it's only going to get harder with the PSR rules actually changing and being closer to what the European rules are.
It's frustrating to watch because the league, I mean, it doesn't compare to any other league in the world. And the league is better when more teams can spend the money that they have. I understand why the rules are in place because you look at the likes of Sheffield Wednesday, I mean, they might go under that.
Yeah,
absolutely. Coventry were in financial turmoil for ages. Like, the rules are there. Pompey. The rules are there to stop these teams going under, and there is nothing stopping an owner just going, right, I've had enough. Newcastle, for example, if the Saudis went, you know what, this project ain't working, and they Spurs because we're in a much better position to spend money, Newcastle will be fucked.
Yeah,
you guys would be fucked if your owners pulled out because your wage structure is terrible. So I understand why it's there, but it's just not fit for purpose. The league is, I mean, this season the league looks good because Bournemouth are overperforming massively. Spurs are performing well again. Chelsea are playing well. Arsenal, City, like there's so many teams actually playing well. If you just keep, you don't want to just keep pumping money into it, but it just makes for better viewing when there's more competitive teams. But I think you're right. Like the rules, they are what they are, but they're bad. And there's loopholes, which you lot are also
trying to exploit.
Oh, yeah, we piggyback up the ones that have done it. It's like, that's a good idea. Let's do that.
Chelsea do it, then they exploit the loophole. Then they have a vote on should we close the loophole, and all the other teams say, well, no, because we want to do it. The only issue is your women's team was worth about 50p compared to theirs.
Yeah. Well, I think it was 100 million, which helped with the PSR rules, but didn't help with SEO. But I honestly, I'm fed up talking about these acronyms. But anyway, I think that'll do us. Thank you, Jasper, so much for coming on.
Yes, Jasper, thanks for coming on, mate.
We do say bye at the end after this is all finished. But for everyone else, if you're watching, please give it a like. If you are new here, please subscribe. I think it's usually about 60% of people are subscribed. So half of you aren't pressing that fucking button and then hit that little bell thing, because then you'll get told when our stupid asses are doing something on here. There's a new hype thing as well. Hit that. I don't know what it does, but apparently it helps. So hit that thing. It's like a little star.
You're too old to be saying hype, mate.
Yeah. Well, look, it's listed down here. It's called hype. It's like I think it's active for 7. Yeah, I think it's active for 7 days after this goes live. This will be going live tomorrow. So this is being recorded on Wednesday the 15th. This will go live on the Thursday. So I'm sure that everything we've just been talking about will be completely negated because there'll be a press conference just before it comes out and it will announce Watkins is fit, Barkley's starting, Mings is starting. All sorts of shit's going to go wrong.
Good news for you. Davies did come off injured in the Wales game. So that's one threat you don't have to worry about.
There you go. So easy pickings, mate. Guaranteed victory now. Guaranteed. 2-1 Villa.
Right, Gary, final thoughts?
Final thoughts. The Premier League's back, baby. I'm so happy. Like international football, for whatever reason, has just died a death for me. I just don't. I can't get excited by it anymore. Like that game yesterday, played in a park pitch in the rain. Like I turned it off. Because I say that I'm not going to watch it. I put it on and go, no, I just can't do it. Right. I'm not enticed by it. So the Premier League being back this weekend, I'm absolutely buzzing. Just to be able to talk about the Villa, to be able to go back into kind of the carrot and blue world and kind of just focus on the Premier League, which is really sad because like I used to love international football, but we'll be there for the World Cup if we've qualified. Right. So hopefully no Villa players need to play any further part in any internationals now because we need our players fit. You know, this is what happens, right? They go away and they get injured. And Ollie Watkins could be out now for a couple of games, maybe. Although we haven't heard anything, which, like you said, James, will be announced probably tomorrow just before this goes live. And we'll look like complete dickheads, like we don't know what we're talking about. So, but that's it. It's back, baby. Sunday, 2 p.m, Sky Sports. I'll be watching. You going to the game, Jasper?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah. We'll look out for you, mate, on the telly. I know, he was there. Getting away tickets is impossible. I've never been to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. James and I are going there next year to see System of a Down, which will be amazing. But other than that, it is what it is. Look forward to the game. Enjoy. And as always, we're ready, James. I apologise for this in advance, Jasper, because we do it at the end of every show. And my voice is rubbish, but we have to sing it out. And it goes like this. Every week we follow the boys in Claret and Blue. Peace, everyone.